As you know, the topic this week has been everything happens for a reason and the examination of that. Because I've heard people say that, and I find myself to be in that camp. And yet today I'm going to talk about the people that I think surprisingly believe and live in that truth more than anyone else, and that is the physicalists and the materialists, that everything happens for a reason. To me, the physicalist or the materialist, they have a perfect faith that everything happens for a reason, and the reason is a purely physical one. Everything can be explained through cause and effect and the exchange of energy and various energetic forces operating one after the next after the next. Everything that we would call consciousness, all the activities of our brain, are all of our so-called intentionality, our life experience, our inner world, and certainly everything in the outer world can be explained as the result of physical causes, conditions, exchanges of energy, and atoms and molecules bumping into each other. They have not a near perfect, but I would say a perfect belief or trust or faith that everything happens for that reason. And it is a perfect faith, and they exercise it. There's one small difficulty in their worldview, and that is they can explain absolutely everything theoretically or hypothetically based on that worldview, except for the start of the universe. There was a well-known philosopher, kind of a crazy fellow named Terence McKenna, who amusingly commented on this. He says, the materialist says that spot me one initial miracle, aka the beginning of the universe, and I'll explain everything else. In other words, give me that one miracle, how everything started, and then everything else is explicable in terms of physical causes and conditions. And one of these days, through promissory scientism and physicalism, we'll be able to explain everything that happens. Now, if the physicalist has near perfect faith, if not perfect faith, trusting that everything has a physical cause, can we, if you consider yourself to be a spiritual being, can you develop the same sort of faith, the same sort of absolute trust and reliance that everything has a reason and a cause that is, how shall we say, conscious, intentional, and really, to boil it down, does everything have a cause and a reason that's good? And I think this is the greatest, for me, this is the greatest extension, example, exercise, exposition, expression of truth that I can engage in myself, which is, yes, everything does happen for a reason, but I'm going to add this one qualifier. And this is just for me. You can do with it what you will, and that is everything happens for a good reason. Everything happens for a good reason. Now, that tests and stretches and expands the boundaries of my understanding, my intuition, my just everything about me is stretched when I say everything happens for a good reason. A subset of that is the prayer, great good comes from this. Because as a spiritual being, the cause of all, of course, is God, love, source. And everything that emerges or comes from that ultimately works together for good. All things work together for good for those who love good or God. So today's mantra, should you choose to accept it, Mission Impossible style, is all things happen for a reason, and the reason is good. What do you think? Try it out. Anyway, I'll see you tomorrow from Sacramento. I'm on the road visiting with close friends. You know who you are. And I'll see you tomorrow from someone else's house, and I really look forward to it and enjoy the day where everything happens for good reason. See you guys.